Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Sports Time HQ. I am indeed your host, Fernando. Joining me today is my great co-host, Gary. Gary, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. It's a nice Sunday. Just ready to go over the mock draft 4.0, man. It's been doing pretty good, so we're gonna roll with it.
Yeah, everybody's liking it, and plus, it's still the type of month where these Dynasty mocks are still happening. I still have one league where I still have one more league that I have to start, but after that, I think that's about it. By like the next week or two, they're all mock drafts or all dynasty drafts should be over. Should be.
Yeah.
But obviously there are some that sometimes waits a little longer. But again, I mean, I liked Dave Kluge's take where it should be right after the draft, like that Monday right after the draft, which maybe we'll start doing that in the future ones. But we got some big news to talk about before we actually get into the Superflex mock draft. And first up, let's talk about something boring. Jets released Greg Zuerlein after 3 seasons. That's all I got on Greg Zuerlein. I mean, he's been great when he was on the Rams and everything, but again, I mean, he's just not really been the same ever since he left the Rams.
Yeah, that was a quick fall off for him, which kind of sucks because he was really good in St. Louis at the time. I think that was when he was with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went to the Jets and just was never the same. So that kind of sucks because I always liked watching him, at least with the Rams. But
Yeah, I liked watching him with the Rams too. And then kind of after that, he kind of just fell off the face of the earth almost.
yeah.
This was some interesting news that I was shocked to see. I thought this was actually like fake news that was coming out. But Caleb Williams never wanted to be a Bear, which I don't blame him. But I mean, he didn't want to be a Bear, but there was a whole take on it. Like he wanted to be a Viking. He met with the Minnesota Vikings. He loved his visit with them. And him and his father both said that they didn't want him to be a Bear. And they tried so hard that they talked to the attorneys and they wanted to see if they can try and get away around the collective bargaining agreement, whether it was from signing with the UFL and just not getting drafted by them, or maybe just ripping the Chicago Bears apart on social media. I mean, that's wild to think.
It is wild to think now that that he's there, all this happened, and obviously it's a different story now because I feel like I've seen him embracing the city of Chicago ever since the season started. But I kind of wonder how Chicago front office feels about this. I'm sure if he turns the franchise around, they're not going to care whatsoever. But right now they're probably thinking oh damn, we got a guy that just clearly was trying to go to the ends of the earth to not be on our team. I was just going to turn out, in the future. But I don't know. I'm kind of a believer in the fact that Caleb Williams will be able to turn the Bears around. Maybe not necessarily go out and win a championship, but I think they have all the talent in the world in that team to be, a solid playoff team. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, to get back to point of him wanting to go to the Vikings, I mean, that's kind of crazy that you would go to the extent of trying to find attorneys and stuff like that to work a way around it. But yeah, man, that's wild.
I mean, obviously now it came out that afterwards, just before the draft, not moments, but just before they had a pre-visit, and he told his dad, listen, I'm going to be a Chicago Bear and I think I can turn the city around. And like you mentioned, you see what he's done for the community and everything. And I think he took it just before the draft came, he took it into a different perspective and said, I'm going to do not what I want to do, but what's best for the team and try and show that the team can still win with me there. But I mean, his rookie season, it was the most sacked quarterback's been in his rookie season or something. I mean, it's just crazy. I do hope for his sake that he can turn it around in Chicago. But if he doesn't pan out, I mean, he's going to hate the Bears for life.
Yeah.
Some other news to talk about is Mr. Irrelevant turns to be one of the most relevant quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
He signs a 5-year, $265 million deal. $181 million of that is in guaranteed money. That is $53 million a year. To put you in perspective, Brock Purdy, he has made the Super Bowl. He made it in his rookie season. Wasn't able to beat the Chiefs that year. And this past season, bearing a lot of injuries that happened to the 49ers. They did not make the postseason. They were fourth in their division. But I do want to mention that Mr. Irrelevant has had more playoff appearances than Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, and Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy that, Mr. Irrelevant is doing these things. But it's definitely the story that, makes people fall in love with the player that he is. I know he's got haters because I know, there were times where he was being talked about as, a runaway MVP candidate. I wouldn't go that far. But I don't think you can hate the guy at all. I mean, like I said, he was the last pick in the draft. And, not necessarily did he turn the Niners around, but they were never like a great team. Like right before he got there, Jimmy G was actually pretty good. He took them to the Super Bowl as well.
He did.
But even before that, like, they had some bad seasons. So I don't want to say he turned them around, but he brought them back, I guess, to where they're used to being that one of those contending teams. And outside of last year, I mean, they've looked like a force to be reckoned with. Their roster's always stacked. So, do I say deserving? Yes, but it is a lot of money. So I will say
I mean, I must say, like, even like Brandon Ayuk's getting paid $30 million. Like, there's like 10 players on this team is pretty much taking over the whole entire salary cap of this team. And I posted a TikTok the other day, or a social media video yesterday, saying that if, for instance, this team cannot win a Super Bowl within the next 2 years, they're going to have to go full rebuild because they aren't going to have enough money to sustain that franchise. And they're going to have to tear it all down. And now what happens with Brock Purdy's deal? It's 5 years. Are you going to just rebuild your whole team and keep Brock Purdy around? Like, maybe if they keep going to the playoffs, they can somehow rework the deals, reconstruct the deals and everything, whatever they have to do. But, I mean, it's going to be tough that we could see it. Maybe not see it like the Saints, because the Saints are just the Saints and they just really dug themselves in a hole. But, I mean, for instance, like, it's going to be tough. And I'm excited for Brock Purdy. But I do want to ask you this question, though, with this. So Brock Purdy is now the 7th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Do you think a quarterback should not be the highest paid or close to the highest paid unless they have made it to the Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl?
I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far because, there are certain circumstances where that's out of the picture, I feel like, because, maybe you got a guy who didn't play much his rookie year and they come in at the end of the rookie year, you know what I'm saying? And then,
Or should he be paid that much
goes
still?
down.
Even
Well, but here's what I'm trying to say. Say like rookie year, he comes, doesn't play a lot in his rookie year. They're terrible, whatever. Second year, he comes in, he's doing pretty good, gets hurt. Third year, he's kind of up and down, dealing with injuries. Fourth year, it's his best year of his career, and they make it to the second round and they just barely lose or whatever in the fourth quarter. I mean, granted, that's a lot of hypotheticals, but I think there are certain circumstances where if you think that you have the guy, no matter what, you're going to give them the money. I think that, I mean, granted, yes, this is a ton of money, but let's be real, guys. Like, the market's changing. Like, the market's always going to change. And Brock Purdy's deal right now in 10 years is still going to be high, but he'll probably be like the 10th highest paid quarterback in the league or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, things are always changing.
Yeah.
And if I'm being honest, I don't think anybody's really worth that money unless you've made it as an entrepreneur, your own money. Um, but yeah, I feel like if you found your guy, then you're going to give him money and it's going to be justified, at least in my opinion, because I think we're way too hard on people who don't make, Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl. There's only one team that can win a Super Bowl each year. And I think we forget that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there's only a small number of people that can actually win a Super Bowl during their career. So, I don't know. I think the whole winning culture gets blown way out of proportion. Of course, it's the one thing that you want to do when you get to the pros. But like I said, only one team can win each year. So if you don't win a Super Bowl for 4 years or whatever it is, you're not deemed this soap artist or whatever it is.
Okay. I'm only intrigued because just based on the top 10 quarterbacks, the highest paid quarterbacks, not one of them has won a Super Bowl. Dak Prescott, of course, has barely even made it to. He hasn't even made it to the conference championship. I don't
Yep.
think he deserves that money, especially because he's number one. Jordan Love, 55 million. I think is a stretch for Jordan Love. I think he's a great player. I just don't think he's worth that much money. Trevor Lawrence also making 55. He's should not even be in the top 10. No way.
Yeah,
No
I
way.
agree.
Joe Burrow, he's made it to the Super Bowl. He hasn't won it, but he's made it, and he's made it far in the playoffs each year. So I think he can be worth it. Josh Allen, same thing. He's just been unlucky and hasn't been able to beat the Chiefs. Tua Tagovailoa, I mean, bearing the injury, he was really good. I just don't know, again, is he worth $53.1 million, being the sixth highest?
Yeah.
Brock Purdy has made it to the Super Bowl, 53 mil. I don't think he's worth 53 at this point after 2 years. Talk to me next year at the end of the season. If he's made it deep into the playoffs or he's made it to the Super Bowl again, then yes, I can say he's worth it. Jared Goff, that team's great. I can't complain with that team. Is he worth 53? It could be a question. I mean, but he can make it deep into the playoffs. Justin Herbert. Has Justin Herbert made it to the Super Bowl? Has he made it to the AFC Championship? Has he won the second round? I don't know if he's ever even won the second round of playoffs.
Who's
So
this
52
Herbert?
and a half.
No.
So 52.5 million, I don't think is worth it. And then Lamar Jackson, 52 million.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say about that is like I'm looking at all these guys' ages right now, and
They're all young for the most part.
at least half of them are 28 or younger, and I'm sure there's probably like 7 or 8 of them are 28 and younger, which in my opinion is relatively young in the NFL. And like I said, only one team can win each year. You got to look at the first 4 years of someone's NFL career that say they come in at 22. I mean, how many great quarterbacks win a Super Bowl before they're 26? I'd really like to know the entire. Can you how
Tom
many can you
Brady.
name? Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, probably.
Could have been.
How many
Could have
more?
been. Could have been Brock Purdy, but wasn't. Did Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts won, no? Or was he 26?
No, I think he might be 20. Yeah, he's 26 now.
Yeah, so he won a Super Bowl before.
So I just looked it up. In the entire history of the NFL, there are 13 quarterbacks who have won a Super Bowl before turning 26. That's it.
Wow.
So I think that, we kind of need to slow down just a little bit on judging people based on whether they've won a Super Bowl or not, especially when they're young. They still have a ton of time. So.
Okay. I agree. I just think, I mean, all right. So then let me ask you this. Do you think that a player should be paid top 10 in their position after 2 seasons?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's a different story that I don't know if I can agree with also though. to be completely honest with you. Because if you have a guy like Justin Jefferson, or
Yeah, of
Jamar
course, of
Chase,
course,
like, you know what I'm
of
saying?
course.
And you also have to understand, like, quarterbacks are a different position, I guess. So it's like
Yeah, of course.
they're the guys that I'm not going to say are worth the money over the wide receivers, but
Mhm.
position wise, it's obvious that those are the guys that get the most money. So, um, no, I probably also disagree with that, but I get what you're saying. Um, to not like get way overzealous about what a guy's doing in his first couple years, or something like that. So I completely get it. But if you have a guy, like I said, like a generational talent, then you have to
Yeah,
you know pull the
you have to
pull
pay
it
the man.
immediately. Right.
You have to pay it. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. Again, like you mentioned, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, like, yeah, they deserve it. It's going to be tough if Brock Purdy doesn't bring them the Super Bowl, or
No,
if
I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey deals with injuries.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
quick question before we start the draft: how do you feel about your schedule for Cleveland? You guys got a
Oh, yeah.
tough
No, I
first
mean,
like what half the season.
listen, I don't really understand how you end up being the worst seed in your division and then end up getting like the second hardest schedule in the league behind the Giants, I think it was. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever. I wasn't expecting us to do anything obviously this year. Next year's a big one because we have the Jaguars pick. So I'm kind of hoping that,
For Jacksonville's
we
downfall.
yeah, I mean, I'm praying on their downfall, but I'm also hoping that we play our cards right and, lose at least like 13 games. But looking at the schedule, I can't see us winning more than like five. I think
Cincinnati,
our ceiling is probably like 6 wins, if I'm being 100% honest with you.
you're right now. Your margin, I think, is 5.5.
Yeah, and
Your win total.
I think that's absolutely insane.
Oh, let's run it. Let's run it quickly. Cincinnati
Sure.
lost.
We
Well,
usually split. Here's the thing: we usually split with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, so I'll say 2-2 on those games.
okay. Baltimore,
Lose.
Green Bay,
Lose 2-4.
Detroit,
Lose 2-5.
Minnesota,
Lose 2-6.
Miami,
Lose 2-7.
New England,
Lose 2-8.
the Jets. After the bye week,
I'll say we win 3-9 or 3-8. Sorry.
Baltimore,
Lose 3-9.
Vegas.
Lose 3-10.
Ooh, that could be a split right there. San Francisco,
Lose 3-11.
Tennessee,
Win 4-11.
Chicago,
Lose 4-12.
and Buffalo.
Lose 4-13.
Yeah, that's right. 4-13.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. And I mean, we very much could be 2-15, to be totally honest with you, if the Bengals can get their heads out of their ass, and that week one game will be something to watch because both teams are historically bad at the beginning of the season. So
Yeah, it's
we
very
will
true.
see. We will just see who wants to lose more.
That's true. Bengals lost last year to the Patriots. Week
Yeah,
one.
exactly. And I mean, I think in the last 25 years we've won one or two week one games. So.
Well, I can tell you, Patriots don't face Miami first in week one, so that's the good news because we always somehow lose week one to Miami.
Yeah.
Running quickly down the Patriots, they don't have as hard of a schedule. They face Vegas, which I think we should win, but we'll probably lose. So I'm going to give it a loss. We're going to beat Miami, 1-1. We're going to beat Pittsburgh. We're going to lose to Pittsburgh. Sorry, 1-2. We're going to beat Carolina, 2-2. We're going to lose in Buffalo, 2-3. Beat New Orleans, 3-3. Beat Tennessee, 4-3. Beat Cleveland, 5-3. Beat Atlanta, 6-3. Lose to Tampa, 6-4. We're gonna lose to New York, 6-5. Lose to Cincinnati, 6-6. Beat New York, 7-6. We're gonna beat Buffalo. We split them, 8-6. Lose to Baltimore, 8-7. beat New York 9-7 and lose to Miami 9-8. That's
Can
realistic.
totally see it. No, I can
That's
totally see
realistic.
it. I mean, you guys have a ridiculously easy schedule, so I wouldn't be surprised if you get 11 wins. To be honest with you, I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
you
the
guys
range
could.
is between 8 and 11. I think that's the
Yeah,
range.
yeah. No, I could definitely see that for sure.
Well, you got any more news or notes?
I don't think so. No,
Well,
I
I
don't think
guess
so.
then it's time for the Dynasty Rookie Mock Draft. Here we go. So, we got some people in the chat here that want to join in. So, they're joining in, and we got ourselves some 4 people. Gary and I we have not picked in the same spot each time. So, again, it is all different. He will be able to snipe me, though, I will say. But Ashton Genty, of course, the 101. Armani was just here. He is on the clock, though. I would think that he's probably going to go with either Travion Henderson or Marion Hampton. It's my guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we expected it. Dylan Rams now on the clock. Travis Hunter goes at the number 3. Also, Dylan was also just here, so he is. I think he might take Travion T-Mac. Cam Ward could drop here to 5, unless it auto picks. Then it will probably be Cam Ward. But Gary, the draft so far going the way it should.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't think anybody's. I can't believe you've been in the league where JT didn't go 1. I don't know who.
I know it's crazy.
I hope that the rest of the league just bashed whoever that clown was. To be honest with you.
No, nobody did, because he actually had his best quarterback on his roster was Mac Jones.
I get it, but like you could just like take Dart in the second.
Yeah, true. Cam Ward going 4, T-Mac going 5. Gary.
Ooh, what do I do here?
You got some interesting options here.
What do I do here?
Do you want Quinshin?
Why? My question is why does Travion not have any projections?
I don't know. Sleeper's bugged with the Patriots stats.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you look at Kyle Williams, he also has no stats, which I think is the reason why he's fallen in a lot of leagues in the beginning, late in the rounds, until people realize that he was being drafted late. Yeah.
That's so weird. Okay. This is going to be a tough spot for a lot of people, I feel like, because I feel like both guys are going to have such a similar season. But
I also will say you go with your best need here, too. If you are in desperate need of a tight end, I think Tyler Warren should be the pick.
I was debating between both running backs. And
yeah, of course.
I went with Judkins because I think
because you're a Cleveland fan?
No. Here's the thing that I've also forgot about Travion's situation. Let's not forget that they paid Ramondre like a good amount of money too.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are forgetting that he's going to be used in that offense, and so is Dylan Sampson. But I feel like we've seen Judkins excel in being the downhill guy. I don't think we've seen that in Travion. We've seen it in the opposite kind of side, and he's going to kind of switch into that role. So I love Travion. I think he's still going to have a great season. It's just kind of wonky for me. They paid Ramondre, so.
Yeah, I'm debating between Amika because I've been going for him this whole time. But if Travion falls to 1-7, I think based on how the drafts have gone,
I would take him there too. Yeah.
I think you have to take best available at 1-7, which is Henderson. Other than that, you can go Warren or Igbuka, who go right after my picks, and then Caleb Johnson falling to 110. And then we're at the 2-1, and Colson Loveland. This is the highest I've seen Colson Loveland go, 2-1. I don't think he should go 2-1, in my opinion. But
yeah,
Armani's on the clock here. I think, if anything, I do know I've drafted with him. I do know he's an RJ Harvey fan. So even if this auto picks, I think this could easily be an RJ Harvey pick.
Mhm.
Other than that, wide receivers are pretty slim in a way. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not RJ Harvey or Dart going within the next 2 or 3, then you're just going to see the run of wide receivers.
Yeah, probably.
Armani will be auto picking, so he will be taking Jackson Dart, and then
Because
RJ
he already had a
Harvey.
running back.
Yeah, probably. RJ Harvey going to 3, Matthew Golden being taken at 2-4, Cam Scatabo going at 2-5. Gary, you can pick any wide receiver you're looking at, or if you're looking for anyone else. You also have that
Well,
option. But I think you also get the best of the wide receivers that are left as well.
I'd probably go with Trey Harris here, and I'm not going to.
That's a good pick.
But I'm not going to. I'm actually going to go here.
I knew
And
it. I tried
saw-
to somehow gas you into getting a wide receiver and gassing them up. But I just knew you were gonna
I just saw a report saying that numerous people in the Seahawks organization would not be surprised if Jalen Milroe is a starter by the end of the season. I don't know if they're expecting Darnold to like not be good. But if that's the case, then he's 100% out. And I mean, I've always actually been a fan of Jalen Milroe's potential, and he was the guy that if the Browns didn't draft Shadur, that was who I wanted out of this quarterback class. So I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. It's a good snipe there. Leaves me into options whether or not I want to go for wide receivers here. I'm going to take the quarterback 3 that I love and I've been taking everywhere. It's Mason Taylor. Luther Burton, Tutton, and Higgins finish out the second round. And then we got the third round, Trey Harris, which is great value at 3-1, and
Yeah,
Duke Beck as 3-2. Shador going at 3-3. Dylan Ram on the clock now. I think I have an idea of where it could be going. If it auto picks, it might go with Samson or Elijah Arroyo. If not, it might just go with the best wide receiver available. One of them.
Yeah.
I think. How do you feel though? Judkins and Milroe, 2 good solid players.
I like it. I mean, like I said, that like 5, 6, 7, I feel like is the toughest part of this draft, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just basing off what you need, and I mean, here's the thing with me: like, I have a foot in both camps, right? Like, obviously, Judkins went to Ohio State too, but he's a Brown now, and Travion Henderson has been a lifetime Buckeye. So it's like I'm really not playing favorites when I pick Judkins over Henderson. There might be a day down the road where I pick Henderson over Judkins. Like, I don't know. But I think like it makes sense as to why they're only 3 spots apart, or might have been 4. I don't know, 3 or 4 spots apart in terms of sleeper rankings, because I just think they're going to have such similar seasons. But I like the upside more in Quinshon Judkins than Travion Henderson. That's all I'm saying.
I also agree, but I do also agree with the fact that they're very equal in value in this draft.
Right.
Ferguson and Chuck go 3-4, 3-5. Gary, you're on the clock here. You have many different options if you'd like.
Maybe this one makes you happy. You like that one?
Oh man, I thought about taking him at the 2-7. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I took him here because I mean it's the thing that we talked about in the past. I think he can immediately come in and be the wide receiver too. So
yeah, I cannot disagree. I've been drafting him in the 3rd round. I've gotten lucky one time drafting him in the 4th, but he has been, I think, the biggest player in this draft that has a big range in picks.
Mhm.
I've seen him as high as 2-7 or 2-7, I believe, and as low as 4-7, I think 4-6. So a 2-round difference is pretty big. I'm on the clock here. I got Travion Henderson. I got Mason Taylor. I'm going to take a chance actually on I am Minora. I think it's a little bit of a reach, but if Kyle Williams isn't on the board anymore, I'm just going to take the next wide receiver I'd like to take. I thought about Jalen Royals. I just think there's going to be with Rice there, Worthy there is just, and Kelsey, it's just going to be too much. Jalen Noel is another option, or Noel, but I just, again, Nico is there. Then you have Jaden Higgins. I mean, there's just not much value. To close out the third round, though, Neil, Arroyo, Fannin, and then Gabriel somehow still finds a way to be fantasy relevant in these drafts.
Let's go.
Now
we know why that team is drafting first.
Yeah, quite literally. I mean, other than Genti's obviously the consensus 101, but Trey Harris is a great value at 3-1.
Yeah.
Other than that, I would probably went RJ
Terrible
Harvey
draft so far.
Yeah, I'd probably go RJ Harvey at 2-1 and maybe go with another wide receiver if you have the chance at the 4-1. Tight ends are going. We got Helm, Gadsden, Sampson, and Evans going. Now you're on the clock here.
Yeah, it's like I love Jaden Blue, but I'm sick and tired of taking him in the 4th round. Like, honestly,
just take him again.
Every single 4th round.
Wherever you are in the 4th round, you always take him, whether it's 4-1 or 4-10.
I don't get it. Let me steer away from that, and let me just take the guy that I guess I get the most value from right now.
Best player available.
It's a guy that's playing with his teammate in college.
Yeah, I can't disagree. The 4-6 is great value for Noel. I will go with a player who I've seen actually go undrafted in 5 rounds, actually. But he's been climbing up the board a little bit recently, and that's DJ Giddens. I think Jonathan Taylor, tremendous, but if you need a backup, Giddens is a great, solid backup that could help produce in Indianapolis.
Man, I always forget that Howard goes at the end of this draft.
I mean, Ewers, Howard, Vork still finds a way to get drafted. I mean, I think, what is it, last one? He got drafted the 4-10 as well?
Yeah, he's the Mr. Irrelevant of this format, and it just so happens to be that he's Niner
it's
as
so
well.
Funny. I did think about taking Will Howard, I will say, at the 4-7. I just decided to not go quarterback here on this one. If I'd have to like any of the drafts or draft positions that drafted the players they did, it'd probably be the 1-6, but I would switch it a little bit, take Henderson at the 1-6, and then at the 4-6, Noel can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with him, but it would be between him or Giddens with the best player available.
Yeah.
I actually really like your draft. Your draft went amazingly.
Thanks. I mean, I took 2-year guys, so I
guess that's also could be biasy because I love them so much that I might have a little biasy on it. I just think Milrow, if you're again, I say it every week, if you're in between the 2-3 and the 2-5 and you're thinking and you have like another pick late in the second, just take Milrow there because it's going to not work out for you if you wait.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't help but express the fact that RJ Harvey falling to 2-3 is insane. I mean, that's just in my opinion, but I mean, I think he could go early as 1-9, 1-10 range. Like, I think he should be going over Caleb Johnson. I really do. And I loved Caleb Johnson at Iowa, but I just think RJ Harvey's got he's got the backfield to himself, and I can't say the same about Caleb Johnson. And also, Emeka's going to be a beast in the future, but I mean, this year is definitely questionable in my opinion. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone took RJ Harvey over Buka as well at 1-9 or 1-10, whatever it is. But I think that he should be going over Caleb Johnson. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I cannot disagree with it because if a team is in desperate need of a running back and or a team's in a rebuild mode, it really changes perspective because, again, if you're in rebuild or if you have decent wide receivers or a decent team, you can take Ibuka because Ibuka is going to give you long-term value versus right now value, which is what RJ Harvey and Caleb Johnson will probably give you more in year one.
Mm-hmm.
So anything else you want to talk about? Any other team? My team drafted fantastic. Not really. I loved my first 2 picks. My second 2 picks there was highway robbery that I need to accuse Gary of.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess I did do that to you. But
You didn't have to, but you did.
I mean, Mason Taylor, I know you love him, and he can be a stud.
Yeah.
So I mean, that I'm fine with that pick. Io Manor, I think actually has really good upside because we've seen the random guys like, um, who was it last year? Was it Keen Westbrook that randomly broke off?
We
And
also
he's a
saw
deep threat guy.
Puka
What's
was a
that?
late fourth. Puka was a late
Yeah.
fourth round pick.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to say like we've seen like I feel like with the Titans like one random wide receiver go off at a time, and it's usually the guy that are like the deep threats, and that's kind of what Io Manor is. He's a big body deep threat. I wouldn't be surprised honestly if he becomes like this. I don't want to say Rashid Shaheed because he doesn't have the speed of Rashid Shaheed. Yeah. But a player like that where he gets a random home run ball every game. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. The depth of wide receiver is completely wide open in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, we could see him being the wide receiver 1-2, or we could see Restrepo, who was Cam Ward's teammate.
Yeah.
So it really depends. I debated between him or I think it was honestly I was thinking of maybe even reaching for Will Howard at 3-7 because I don't really have much value after 3-7 unless you don't draft a tight end in the second round.
Right.
But I mean, going real quick on Armani and Dylan's team, which team do you think drafted better?
See, I have such mixed feelings about both of their drafts.
I do too.
I was looking at them both, and I'm like, damn, like I just have, Here's the thing. Maybe it's because I'm not the biggest Jack Beck guy. But I would have taken Kyle Williams over him. And man, if Trey Harris, well, here's the thing, right? They obviously auto drafted like essentially their whole draft. So we're kind of just like talking about the AI here again. But I mean, if Trey Harris fell to 3-2, I would have liked to see if he went there because if so, this draft would be like 10 times better in my opinion. Also, not the biggest sold person on Dart yet. I could be though. I mean, I have neighbors, so I'm kind of actually rooting for him. And I'm also not the biggest fan of Hampton, but I like Gunnar Helm. I think he can find somewhere to fit in that offense. I think that's one of the biggest value tight ends in this rookie draft. So I think that's good. Obviously, Cam Ward 1-4. He's got to go somewhere like that. Matthew Golden, I'm not sold on, but I love the last two picks for Dylan. So.
Yeah. Being the wide receiver 1 of the tier 2s, being Matthew Golden, I mean, it really comes down to who you favor more. But again, it's really depends. But I think if you look at both these teams, you see that there's different needs with both these teams. Like for instance, Armani's team needed a running back and quarterback. Other than that, the wide receiver and tight end, he must have decently good wide receiver tight ends. Versus Dylan's team, which has good tight end, maybe has good running backs, but needs a little bit more help with the quarterback and wide receivers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, more quarterback, running back for Armani, quarterback, wide receiver for Dylan. Other than that, though, the tight ends, it seems like they must have good tight ends. And then for your team, it seems like you have like Mark Andrews or Brock Bowers because you didn't even draft one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously like I always try to draft on like team needs, right? Yeah. And like the one I'm in 2 Dynasty leagues now, but the one that I really have my draft coming up for, I just need running back and wide receiver help. To be honest with you, I have Ingram and Otten as my tight ends, so don't really need any help there.
Yeah, there's some potential with both of them.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that might just do it. Once again, that was our 4th Superflex mock draft. If you haven't done so already, we're going to be doing it all month. But make sure to use the code down here, SportsTimeHQ, on Underdog Fantasy. They're going to match your first deposit up to $1,000. You heard it, $1,000. Gary, obviously it's football, but Nuggets, are the Nuggets going to make it?
If they win, I believe tonight. I think they're playing tonight.
Yeah, tonight against OKC.
To be honest with you, the winner of that series might just win it all.
I'm going to be honest. I am rooting for the Nuggets. I'm rooting for the Nuggets to go all the way.
I am too, honestly. I love Jokic. So.
I just don't want to root for the Knicks. Anything but the Knicks.
Yeah, I get it, man.
But again, use that code SportsTimeHQ on Underdog Fantasy. They're going to match your first deposit up to $1,000. And again, go to TrophySmack.com/SportsTimeHQ. They're going to match. They're not going to match anything, but you can get yourself a trophy, ring, or belt. Again, we need some usage of the site, of the link, so we can give away more things on Trophy Smack, but we can't do it without you guys. So hopefully you guys can go on TrophySmack.com/SportsTimeHQ. We are here every single week on Wednesdays and Sundays. Wednesdays, we're here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That is indeed our next show down on the bottom. And Sundays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, which it's what you're watching right now. So we're here on Wednesday. Make sure to go check us out there. But go follow social media of Gary's all over social media at GD Hicks. I'm your host, Fernando, and you can follow us all over social media at SportsTimeHQ. And we will see you all on Wednesday.